And what frustrates me is that the exclusion of communities that have been most persecuted by the prohibition of marijuana are not represented in the billion-dollar industry that continues to grow and have influence in the same way that alcohol does. And so I want to know from you, Mr. Burnett, I'm assuming that you have some understanding of the economics of this, and correct me if I'm wrong if you don't, but do you have concerns that we are about to, besides the criminal justice aspects I'm concerned in, the health and safety access that everybody, from Mr. Burnson, Mr. Cook, and others are involved with, from the economic perspective, as you look out at what's happening now, as people are beginning to make tremendous amount of money with only 1% of the businesses being African American, for example, do you have concerns about the way that the economics of this are being conducted and some recommendations going forward?
Yeah, significant concerns. I think that it's imperative, I cannot stress it enough, critical that the strategy that the federal government takes is to allow an incremental process for the engagement around interstate commerce. There are a number of states that are currently working on social equity development programs to help small and minority-owned businesses get a foothold within the cannabis space. As Senator Cotton alluded to, previously was part of a cannabis business as a person of color, largely because there were so few people of color doing it. And the amount of barriers that it takes, and even today in the current marketplace that we exist in, if you're not independently wealthy and have a significant amount of personal cash to be able to weather the current economic environment, your business is going to go under. And so as we move forward, being able to understand the distribution of supply and demand and the protection of the small and minority-owned businesses within nascent states to be able to allow them to flourish is a critical component that we have to keep in mind as we move forward on the federal level. Otherwise, we're going to see the consolidation of wealthy corporate interests take over the cannabis space, and it's going to wash out and prevent all of the harms from the communities that have borne the burden of the criminal justice history of enforcement here in the United States from being able to be equitably reestablished and repaired.
I recently was in Chicago and met with a bunch of African-American men, sadly there were not minority women present, who got licenses, but were telling me horrific stories about mortgaging their homes, selling everything they could just to try to get these businesses open, and still not being able to access the capital systems, despite trying to talk to credit unions and banks. Nobody could do for them what they needed to be done, and they were getting tremendous offers from these national business people to either buy them out entirely, offer them usury rates, or use them as a showpiece to hide behind where the real capital and profit could be made by the wealthier interests. Is that your experience as well?
That is my direct experience. I've been that person sitting in the bank asking for the loans, all of that sort of stuff, been offered the same, by the same multinational large corporations, the opportunity to be able to be bought out of a license. All of that's happening currently. And so as we go forward, there are tremendous tools and abilities within the federal government, and the ability to be able to effectively regulate and prevent regulatory capture of the cannabis space and commercial consolidation of the space is well within the purview of the United States federal government. We have all the tools necessary to be able to create a environment in which we can protect public health, learn the lessons of tobacco and alcohol, and ensure that the economic benefits of this go evenly across.
So is this too simplistic? By not allowing something like safe banking and the opening of the banking rules, we're actually creating a reality by constricting it that this is going to be a business that's going to move forward because states are moving, that's going to allow the people that have resources, already have wealth and access to get the opportunities, and people from lower income backgrounds with criminal past marijuana convictions or what have you, to really get entirely squeezed out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, the need for, legislation like the Safe Banking Act is clear, right? That need is there. But insofar as we're going to do this in a manner that restores pays homage to and ensures that those who have been most harmed by the criminal prohibition of cannabis federally and, everywhere else in the country at the state and local level are able to participate, then we should do it comprehensively and thoughtfully.
So let me say